Hey guys, I've been meaning to do this for a few days. Just kind of walk you through the website plan and just make sure we're all on the same page. Um, I'm thinking of things more from a functional standpoint, and we can kind of make anything look the way you want it to, anyhow, any way you want to. Um, but the best websites are always planned out, from the ground up. What do we want this site to be able to do? So what I put together here is kind of this idea of what a very simple home page could be, um, and we would use a media slider, and I use this product called Slide Revolution, and so I figured I'd just show you guys a couple examples of that. Like this is kind of a hero slide, revolution, like where this is literally just one single image that you can put some animation on, like that. My first thought is that we would open with the single slide that has the video logo trailer movie that you already made. And then my question is what happens after that? Do we just say, hey, welcome to the site, or do we actually start showing content, at the top of the page? So if I go back out to my drawing here, this gray box is representing, that big home page image. And it can be a single slide, or it can be truly a slider. And one thought I had is that we could make it what's called a post slider. A post slider is something like this, where these articles are being written in the dashboard of the website, and this slide is being generated based on the content that's uploaded when they post that article. So for instance, in WordPress, you kind of work on this dashboard environment like this. If I create a new post, I'm going to put the title of my post here. I'm going to put the content of my story there. And if I want to add a picture, I can do it, by clicking these buttons. And then I can assign it some categories. And in our case, that might be featured artist, that might be guitarist, drummer, singer, whatever. And we can customize all of the information that we gather in this format right here. And eventually we can get the slider to output the title of the article here, the date that this was posted, a little link to get to the entire article. The image in the back is part of something that's collected down here, which is called featured image, where you just upload an image there. And then the next cascading articles that are next in line are shown up here. So this is a function that I was trying to show where we could make this a post slider. Now, understanding that, I went ahead and went a little bit further. So now we need to create an actual post, which is this little piece over here. And it's called a custom post type. And so if we were featuring artists, we could give them a big, huge image there. We could give them a space to write whatever they want to. When I meant turnkey content here, that could be anything like date of birth, musical influences, any kind of generic kind of questionnaire type thing. And I was thinking like, Playboy centerfolds used to have all those generic questions that all the girls used to answer. The best part of this process is that at the bottom here, we can feed in all of these relationships. So for every time we create an article about a particular artist, we can give it a category. Remember how I showed you over here, we can assign it. So that might be guitarists or vocalists or whatnot. Down here, now I can say, okay, so if I'm reading if I'm reading this guitarist named Media Slider and I learn about them, I see their things, I can now have WordPress feed in, other guitarists. I could also have tags, which are more like micro granular data. We could just say, from Nashville or blues artists or whatever, and then we can have other relationships, and we can feed in other opportunities to have artists just like this person. So basically you could have a headline that says people who viewed this guy also viewed these people. that type of a Netflix content populator type of thing. An archive, I was just basically showing you that an archive is just a collection of all of these singles, and archives can be output into grids, catalogs, lists, or whatever. So in our menu, you could have people search via category. So show me all of the guitarists, and then we could have a grid of guitar people show up, or show me all of the whatever vocalists in Nashville, and we could have all that populate. So this was slightly confusing. We talked about having a hero slide. That's kind of like where you take up most of the open screen with an image. And then just south of that, I would just say we would just have the guests scroll down. And this is where you would pitch people the products that you talked about. So this is like, your video production, or your recording, or, how to promote yourself on this site, or anything like that. We would give them some kind of a portal, a way, an avenue. And it doesn't have to be 4 individual items side by side like this. It can be set up in halves. It could be set up in thirds, whatever. I mean, just the idea is that the guest basically sees this. Anything that's within these 2 red lines is basically optional. I mean, it's whatever you think is the most valuable thing you want people to see next. The idea of an anchor tag is simply this, that when we create a menu up top, I can add to that menu, I can add About Us, and on this little block, I can just add what's called an anchor tag. And so when I click that About link up here in the menu, it's going to just scroll the page down until the About Us page is in the top of the window. And that's how we kind of trick people into thinking it's a multiple page website when actually it's really just one page. The reason that you want to do it that way is to kind of trick Google. When you don't have a lot of content, you can kind of get more SEO value if you put more content on a single page. This email capture is really just kind of a pop-up device, so if nobody interacts with any of the buttons and they move up to click the tab, we can have this email window trigger that just says, hey, leaving, let us get your email address so we can keep you up to date, or some kind of a capture device. So this is really the gist of my drawing here, is just saying that you basically need an About Us page. We just need a page for people to get in touch with you. And other than that, we're featuring artists, we're featuring events, and we can trigger all of those things through these custom post types. And if you think this is making sense, or this is kind of going down the path you were intending, then good. If not, then let's set up another phone call and start talking about function and what we want the site to do, and I'll take another stab at it. So I hope the video helps, man. I know it's probably a little chatty, but maybe a better understanding of what I was trying to set up for you guys. So I'll post this up in Basecamp, and we can chit chat after that. Bye.